And welcome to our third podcast. Can you believe it? 3. Yes. Anyway, over to you, Paul.
Yes. Good morning. This is Paul and Stephen's third podcast. Hope that the people who listened to the first one are still listening, and the people who listened to the second one are still listening. Hopefully. So, just to introduce myself, my name's Paul Sharland. I came to Dubai in 2005. I've been doing real estate in Dubai ever since. Had a couple of short breaks in 2012 and 2016, and I'm working at Haus very happily with one of my long-term colleagues, Stephen Leckie. Over to you, Stephen.
Thank you very much. That's me, Stephen Leckie, working real estate here in Dubai. I've been in Dubai since 2003, and I have been working in the real estate field as an agent here since 2015, about the same time as Paul arrived here. So I'm in my 20th year in Dubai and 18 years of real estate experience here. What are we going to talk about today, Paul?
Well, I would just one thing. Now it's the third episode. Now people are starting to get an idea of what we're trying to achieve. But just one thing I've been asked by the camera crew, can you try not to dribble in this episode, please?
I know, I'm sorry.
Is that okay?
No, it'll be all right.
And don't fall asleep.
No.
Yeah, I know that.
When are you talking?
Well, no, I can kick you, but or inject you. But I think that, like, if I just sort of look at you or prod you, then it should be okay.
Thank you.
That's okay. Right, you can carry on now, Stephen.
I've got nothing to say to follow that at all.
No.
I'm deeply hurt by what you just said. No, look, I think one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because it's been everybody's talking about this 2040 plan and the fact that all the team should learn about it, read it, be able to include it in any presentation they make to a potential client here in Dubai. And anybody that's listening, please just do a search on Google for the Dubai 2040 Urban Masterplan, and you'll see what's going on. So I wanted to talk to you about that, and maybe get some feedback from you on how you explain it to people. What I found is interesting, before you start, is that this is actually the 7th development plan since 1960. So wow. Essentially what the government here have done is make a future plan for the well-being of all its citizens, of the country itself, the city, etc. And just basically have a plan. And I don't know, that there are plenty of governments around the world that have this plan, but unfortunately they tend to get voted out after 3 or 4 years. So whatever they're planning to do just doesn't happen. So this is the 7th iteration since 1960, and I've got it written here. The population of Dubai since 1960 has multiplied 80 times, from 40,000 people in 1960.
It's not a lot, is it?
40,000? No, it's not.
No,
that's like Brasti on a Saturday night.
Yeah,
and to about 3.6 million today. I don't know what this actually means, but it's written here, and I've typed it up. Is the built-up area, the urban and built area of the Emirates has increased 170-fold from just a small 3.2 square kilometre. Okay, well, there's some interesting facts.
What I find very interesting, and I almost find it fascinating. So, and you touched on it. So, as you said, in European countries or the UK or US, wherever in the world, you know, they vote in a new government. The government, you know, during the stages of whether or not they're going to get voted in, you know, they have their manifestos that we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Maybe they have a 20-point manifesto, and usually, I think we can go back as long as we want to, of say they had 20 things in their manifesto that they hope to achieve over the next 5 or 10 years, whether or not they get voted in twice, they probably achieve 1 or 2. They just don't do them. It's all part of obviously getting voted in, and then the things they thought they would be able to do, which they probably thought they never could do, but they say it to get voted in. Now the difference with Dubai, and we know this is, as you've rightly said, going back to 1960, they have a 2040 plan. They actually have a 2030 plan, which isn't quite as ambitious as the 2040 plan, but going by both what we know over the last 18, 20 years, if they say they're going to do something in Dubai, there's a very, very high chance they're going to do it. It's like 99%, whether that's new infrastructure, whether that's new green areas. I mean, we can go into it in more detail in a moment, but they will do it. That is the difference. Yes. And, I think people don't realise that. You look at all the promises made by whether it's a Labour government or a Tory government in the UK, they might do one or two things. They might, the economy might be performing well, so they actually have the money to do these things. But if Dubai says they're going to do something, pretty much we've learned over that period of time since we've been here that they will do it. And just that in itself is exciting because we know what the future holds.
Definitely. And there's actually, I've got a picture on my wall. It's a future map of Dubai.
Well, basically, you're talking about the 2040 plan.
No, I haven't. I think it was made probably about about 2005. It was made 2006.
Yeah.
And it's a future map of Dubai, and it shows things like the Jebel Ali Palm. It shows the new airports at Maktoum in Dubai South. It shows a canal that goes from the creek around Business Bay down to the beach. It shows
all the new roads and infrastructure.
Shows all of that. I mean, there's still stuff. There's still things. It shows all the casinos and the Las Vegas Strip that was going to be
really?
In
Al Qudra.
Al Qudra Road, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there are certain things that haven't happened that they did, but that's not to say they won't happen.
Correct.
They just haven't happened yet.
Yes.
And I think that there's been certain delays because of what's happened in the rest of the world with the economic reasons, COVID,
economic reasons and COVID, of course.
That's it. Those two very large events that have happened over the last 20 years. But essentially, we talk about Jebel Ali, for instance. Jebel Ali was going to be this massive urban master plan, which was basically put on hold. But now there's talk of it very shortly being back on the scene.
Yeah.
And so don't underestimate Dubai. Some things may happen a bit slower than we would have thought, but they will eventually happen because they have a plan and a vision.
They do, and I think it's and we're told this regularly that effectively Sheikh Mohammed and his advisors, whether they sit down weekly, monthly, quarterly, and it's almost the way it comes across to me. They sit down and say, right, what can we do to make Dubai more attractive for people to move here, live here, to make a new life, to do business. Multiple reasons, and it's you can pretty much say that they must do that because whether it's every 3 months or every 6 months, a new announcement comes out, and it's like, wow, they're going to do that in Dubai, and they will do it. They might say it's going to be ready in 5 years. It might take 10. But unfortunately, Europe and the UK particularly, if they say they're going to do something like a new train line or pretty much anything, they talk about it for 10 years. They spend 5 years getting planning permission, so that's 15 years, and then it gets turned down anyway. That just doesn't happen here. It's just completely different. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it, and they do it.
Yes. No, I agreed. Totally agree. That's what makes it a fairly exciting place for us. Even in my at my age, I'm still very excited about the whole city and being here, etc. And I love the fact that things change on such a constant regularity. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, I'll go quickly over what they're saying they're going to do by 2040. Now, there's more detail than this, but this is just a general. Green and recreational spaces to double in size. That means they will at least double in size. Natural reserves and rural natural areas will constitute 60% of the Emirates' total area. Several green corridors. The movement of pedestrians, bicycles and sustainable mobility means across the city, which will be facilitated. Land area for hotels and tourist attractions to increase by 134%, which will be a total of 168 kilometres. A lot of land being designated for new education and health facilities, which is a massive thing. Education, as we know, isn't getting any better in a lot of parts of the world. It's improving all the time in Dubai, and public beaches and access to the sea, should we say, is going to increase by 400%. It's quite incredible.
Yeah. I mean, one of those things I point out is bicycles, for instance. Believe it or not, even though the weather here doesn't really work for a lot of people who might be thinking of going
unless you're Luke, one of our bosses, who likes running through the desert in 50 degrees.
Yes. Or James, who likes cycling through the desert.
Yeah. So I mean, some people do like it.
Yeah, and they get up very early in the morning.
They do,
and they go up to Al Qudra and they cycle.
Yeah.
And there's, I don't remember I think we've mentioned it before, the amount of cycle tracks that are going on in Dubai, but essentially I think the whole of Dubai is going to be connected by cycle tracks. You've also got this mass transport system, which is evolving where needs must, so to speak. So as a need arises, then the train goes that way.
Well, I tell you what is becoming, and I'm absolutely sure of this. So when the metro first came online or started, was operational, I believe it was 2009, 2010, I think. Mm. So I would you could argue up until recently, generally speaking, white collar office workers, people working in DIFC, Business Bay, Media City, they still drove to work.
Yeah.
Because it was more comfortable, driving your nice car, etc. Now, I know this because I've got a lot of friends who work in DIFC, particularly over the last 12 months, where the roads have got so busy. The reason the roads got so busy is because there's so many people moving here. But don't worry, they're building new roads all the time. They now get the metro into work because they just say that it's quite enjoyable. It's much quicker. It's extremely convenient. They leave their nice cars. It could take them on occasion sometimes an hour to get to work, an hour, particularly of an evening. When people are going into the IFC to go to your Zumas and your, I think Babylons and whatever else.
We're too old to know.
We are too old to know.
We've
yeah.
only heard young folks talk about it.
Yeah. What do you mean we're too old, Stephen?
No, we are.
What you said we?
Yeah. I meant we.
What? Okay, yes. Right. We'll go back to that one. The metro 100% is going to become more and more important to Dubai. People who a year ago, 2 years ago, I'd never get the metro. They are getting the metro now.
Sure.
And you've got the new lines going in, which are going to be going to JVC. They're going to be going to Sports City. I believe even Arabian Ranches in the future.
Yes.
So. Just that in itself, apart from all the new roads, new interchanges, once again, the infrastructure now, it's because of the amount of people moving here and the amount of cars, some of the roads are arguably the busiest they've ever been. But give it another few years, there'll be more people using the metro, more lines, and there'll be more roads, more interchanges, and it'll make it more enjoyable, if you like, to get from A to B. And
that's part of the 2040 plan, isn't it? They talk about a 20-minute city.
And apparently they're bringing it forward because they know that they didn't expect this population increase to be as big as what it is.
What are they bringing forward?
Well, so the things that some of the things that were in the 2040 plan, if they can achieve those by 2030, 2035, they will do that. If it's feasible and possible, and we know they've got the money, they will do it. Because, as we know from the end of COVID, particularly over the last 2 years, beginning of 21, there's been a huge amount of people moving to Dubai for all different businesses, business, finance, IT, etc. And that's going to continue. And they think, well, actually, rather than us waiting that amount of time, if we can do it sooner, we will do. And I do believe that.
I agree. Well, as I say, I've never underestimated Dubai and what they're capable of doing. There's one thing that I thought of while you were talking there. Have you ever heard someone saying that Dubai is less of a city and more of a business? It's run on
Dubai Inc.
Yes,
I've seen it quoted on various different places, Instagram, etc. I mean, Dubai is open. Dubai is open for business.
Yes,
it's run like a extremely well-run, efficient business.
Yes,
it has its ups and downs.
Yes,
we're obviously on. We're in an upward trend at the moment, but I think the difference with this upward trend is it's going to last a lot longer than the previous upward trends, in my opinion. Which will move us on to the next subject, Stephen. Which is, this is purely our opinions, purely our opinions. We could be wrong, but we've got to, let's have a quick chat about it. What is going to happen, or what do you see happening in Dubai? And we might actually disagree on this. So we might get into a bit of a back and forth over it. You never know.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in Dubai over the next 5 years? What's your opinion, Stephen, with what you've seen over the last couple of years? Because obviously the last 2 years have been, I would argue, the most important 2 years in Dubai since the birth of Dubai in 2002. 2015 through to 21, not much happened. Obviously, not much happened 2009 to 2012, but things have changed a lot over the last 2 years. So what is your opinion over the next 5?
Well, I think a lot more people will be moving here.
Yep.
I think we've only just seen the beginning of the high net worth individuals moving here. I think what will happen very shortly, over the next, in the medium to long term certainly, is a lot of other people will be following as a result of what's going on in the rest of the world. I think we'll see the population of Dubai grow exponentially. And to that effect, we will see a lot of new businesses, a lot of service industries moving over here, a lot of businesses that maybe run online, etc., from wherever they are in the world are going to be coming here. I think the crypto guys are looking at this place, liking what the legislation is doing for them, and they are certainly considering a move here. What else? What do
you think the property market's going to do over the next 5 years? Because that's probably a lot of the reason why people are listening.
Should I have such talks about property?
No, you can touch on it. Yeah, I know you haven't got too much to say, but
look. Everybody's saying, "Oh, the market's going to carry on. It's all going to happen. Everything's going to be amazing."
Well, some people as well. I don't agree with this. Some people are saying we're going to see a 20-30% drop by the end of the year. I mean, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't.
But some people are saying that as well. If you did speak to 10 people, you would get multiple different opinions. And this is why it's quite interesting.
In the last 18 years, people have been saying the same thing for 18 years. They've been saying, "Oh, it's a bubble. Oh, it's a bubble. Oh, it's not going to last." And then other people are saying, "Oh, this is going to last for 5, 10, 20 years." All signs for me is this market, although it is not a fully mature market like many other cities in the world, it's certainly maturing. I think the amount of legislation that's in the market now is a very positive thing. Optics on numbers, figures, statistics, etc. We can now base many of our assumptions about the future based on the past, which we didn't previously have. We didn't have a past as such. There was no facts to base things on. The way that, if you read what the experts are saying, the big advisors, the big property advisors, the JLLs, I won't mention all of them, but the people I mean, the very big companies are out there spending fortunes on research, etc. They're also having a very positive view of Dubai, which is not something that we've seen in the past at all. Now, my feeling is that we definitely don't have enough prime properties. Grade A properties, both in commercial and residential. We definitely don't have enough. You only have to see something like ICD Brookfield, which is probably the best commercial building in Dubai. I mean, they filled that up during COVID.
In DIFC.
They filled it up during COVID. Imagine. There were companies out there that were still prepared to sign up and move into ICD Brookfield during, or certainly almost, it was actually during COVID that it was being completed, but they did sign agreements there during COVID. So I think prime property is certainly going to be something we've got a lack of. And I have absolutely no doubt with the increase in the population, you're not just going to see people who want to buy prime properties. You're going to see people the likes of me, who is a normal person, getting a normal salary or commission-based salary, etc., who will be wanting to buy property and stay here for a lot longer. So I think demand will match or exceed supply for quite some time.
Okay, thank you.
That's my feeling. What do you think, Paul?
It's first of all, it's a difficult one because obviously it's a complete projection or prediction.
Yes.
Obviously, the market is very busy at the moment. It's busy with people moving to Dubai who want to buy their nice villa or townhouse or apartment to live in as a home. I think we've touched on this before. Once again, that people aren't coming here or don't want to come here so much for the 2-3 years anymore. It is your 5-10 years, or if their kids are got young kids, they want their kids to go through the school system here. Prices, people say, prices have gone up too much since COVID. I counter that by saying from 2015 through until the beginning of 21, prices sort of just came off slowly just because there wasn't that much interest in the market, and then prices came off even more during COVID, where there was this bit of a what the hell is going on around the world. So the market was very undervalued. So I believe that the prices now are where they should be. We actually don't want prices to continue to rise, because that is when potentially you can get a bubble. Mm-hmm. We just want two-way transactional business where the buyer is happy to pay the price that the property is being offered for, and the seller's happy to sell. It's a good two-way market,
and the developers stay in business.
And of course, and as long as the developers don't get greedy and take advantage of people thinking, well, this is never going to end and prices are going to never stop going up, where they keep putting their prices up, which hasn't happened this time round. Nothing like it did back in 2008. I'm not saying there's not going to be some sort of slowdown. Of course there will be, like any market in the world, whether it's a property market, a stock market, anything, it has swings and flows. Sometimes it's manic and it's crazy, and other times it goes through periods where it's sort of just bobbles along. So that will happen at some stage, but going back to what's generally happening is that a lot of people, particularly from Europe, Asia, US, are moving to Dubai. So while these people are moving here who want to buy a home, there's obviously a limit to what they want to pay and what they can afford. So I think it will just continue as it is. The population increase will continue. As I said, anyone who thinks there won't be a slowdown at some stage is being a bit naive. But the fundamentals for Dubai over the next 5 to 10 years, if you look at all of the data, if you speak to the right people, if you speak to the schools, if you speak to the relocation companies, Dubai is happening. And I just think it's going to stay on an upward trajectory. We don't want it to be too aggressive. We just want it to continue as it is. And it's sustainable. And if it stays like that, as we've discussed, the 2040 plan, the 2030, 2035 plan, which is less discussed, but that's happening as well, then things are looking good. But as I said, we don't know what's going to happen. If we'd have been sitting here 4 years ago and said there's going to be a worldwide pandemic, then we'd have laughed, and there was. So that's where we're at.
I don't know if we would have laughed.
Well, I don't know if we would have laughed, because we thought we could die, which would have been inconvenient. A bit of a pain that. But yeah, you can't foresee the future, as in world events which are completely outside of our control. But Dubai, compared to the rest of the world, we've said it before and we will say it again, is performing extremely well compared to 99% of the rest of the world's economic outlook. That's it. That's a fact.
Yes, and reasons are opportunity, ease of getting to live here, the visa situation, no tax,
no crime. Brilliant education, brilliant healthcare system.
Unbelievable safety.
Yeah.
Great infrastructure, yes. Health, education. What else? Business. Open for business, as you say.
Dubai's open for business,
That's it. A bit smug, aren't we, really?
We're not really smug. I think we're being quite factual, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
but do you not think, I feel, I was out with a client last week and I was sort of faintly embarrassed when he asked me, you know, why do people come and live in Dubai? I was faintly embarrassed in to tell him that, you know, because life is really good here.
Yeah.
You know, because they're all having a pretty poor time of it in certain parts of Europe, etc.
Yeah.
And then when you look at us and it's like, well, if there's any bubble that's going on in Dubai, it's the fact that we all seem to be living in this huge bubble of safety and tax-free and great weather and great everything, really.
Yeah.
It's a good life. That's our bubble.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Really?
Shouldn't I?
You should, but it's very rare for you to...
Well, no. I worked it out that I've got to agree with you occasionally.
Really?
Yeah. So I think if
you haven't got to do anything.
No, I know I haven't. I know, but
you feel sorry for me.
It just makes you feel better. Plus, you were starting to dribble, so I was trying to change the conversation. Anyway, I think that's been fantastic, Stephen. I think we've covered both the subjects we wanted to cover on this episode. Or is there something else you'd like to add?
Look, I work in off-plan and I'm telling all the new guys...
Off-plan and investments, Stephen.
Off-plan and investments. So I'm imploring my new team members to just think in off-plan in terms of off-plan, and the struggling... They struggle at times to really understand why we recommend off-plan as a strategy, as a good investment strategy. And I really wanted to talk about some of the reasons, or certainly list the reasons, why off-plan is a positive. I'm not saying that secondary sales are not the way to go for many people. I'm just saying that there is a part of the community, of the investment community, who
we want to share what we believe to be the benefits of buying off plan.
Yes.
Okay, but if
Thank you for putting that into short.
I know you do become forgetful.
Yeah.
So if you could give me a few benefits, then I'll add a few more benefits, and then from that, hopefully, everyone will see the benefits.
Right. So it sort of also crosses why off-plan and why you should deal with the broker rather than the developer. But maybe we'll leave that for another time.
Yes.
Why you should deal with the broker rather than going directly to a developer. Because let's talk about off-plan. I think, the first thing, of course, is off-plan. You don't actually even have to get in a plane and come over to Dubai.
Correct.
You don't have to live here. You can do it remotely.
Well, I mean, you know the amount of properties which were sold off-plan over the phone during COVID when people couldn't get here even if they wanted to.
True that.
So that proves that you can do it over the phone.
Yes.
As long as you get the correct information.
Yes.
And accurate information.
Yes.
And the people actually who bought off-plan during COVID are sitting there very, very happily at the moment.
Yes, they have. So I think that's something. There's another one, but there's two sides to this argument. Is that Dubai is always after something which is shiny and new. But then the counter to that is, well, what happens to property that is 10 years old, 20 years old? And that's my counter argument for that is, of course, that there are some properties which were built 10 to 20 years ago, which are just as popular.
Yes. Because
they are being extremely well managed. They're in communities that people want to live in, and they were built to a high quality even 10, 20 years ago.
But not many.
Not many, no. There are far more now that are being built to quality, more efficiency, which I think we touched on before, and we talked about efficiency of design, etc. There's payment plans, of course. It's easy. There's some more aggressive payment plans these days. That's just a reflection of the market. But I think, payment plans. It's an ease of you can spread your payments over 2 or 3 years. You have a lot more choice in off-plan. Certainly from my point of view, when someone wants to buy secondary, I normally pass them over to someone else, but I've had some clients who I deal with and so they're close to me, so to speak, and it's very frustrating when they come over from overseas. They say, right, I'm here for a week, I want to buy something that's ready, and I line up 3, 4, 5 different viewings for them, and on the day the tenant decides he doesn't want to open the door, he doesn't want to be there, etc. We're running a little late, so the tenant won't wait. So there's all that frustrations that go into, and it reflects badly on the agent, the fact that this happens. There's another one. The fees are a lot less. when you're buying off?
I think as well, the developers now, when they're building a new development, whether it's a master community or a standalone building, they've done their homework, they've done their due diligence, they've done their investigations. They know what the client wants much more than what they used to.
Definitely.
A long time ago, you used to get bigger apartments with a lot of wasted space, enclosed kitchens, poor quality, not very good facilities. When you look now, they've gone for more of the European model, open plan, nice neutral colours, floor to ceiling glass windows, much better facilities.
Glass windows, not just windows.
Well, what floor to ceiling? Oh yeah, they could. Oh yeah, what should I have said? Floor to ceiling windows.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, floor to ceiling windows. Okay.
Because I like a glass window personally. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I like a glass window. I'm trying to think of another window now, but I can't think of one. Are they only glass?
Well, maybe back in the day when there were sort of bars on the window. Maybe in your life.
No, that was a long time ago now.
Okay,
ages. I hope. No, but I mean they're just much more in tune, and this is the big difference to me. Now, if a building now which is 10 or 15 years old, you can walk into that building, you can walk into the foyer, you can get in a lift, you can look at the facilities, and it will seem like a 10 or 15 year old building. They age very quickly. Now, a brand new building now by a good developer, that building, if that was to hand over today, in 10 years' time, that won't seem like a 10-year-old building. It will still seem like a new building because it's been built to such a higher standard.
Yes.
Now, this is what we tell our investors. If you buy into a new building, whether it's brand new today or it's going to be ready in 2 years, as long as we've got trust in the developer in a good location, it's such a better investment. Because what people don't talk about in Dubai, and it still amazes me, is exit strategy. We're investment brokers. We should know. We should be having that conversation with our clients. Look, we can put you into a great product at a great price in a great location, but at some stage you're going to want to sell that apartment or that villa or that townhouse. Now, so that means that a new buyer is going to want to come along. The amount of buyers who want to buy into a 15-year-old building is about 10% of the buyers who want to buy into a newer building with a good layout, with the nice facilities, with the nice finish. So you've got to bear that in mind when you're looking to invest in Dubai. Look at the newer buildings. It's so
amazing
important.
How many people I talk to who are investors and they don't have an exit plan.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's
what can I say without
whatever you're going to say, can you say it? I know. See, this is the other thing I was told. I didn't want to say more about the falling asleep and dribbling, but you also forget what you're saying.
I get distracted. Yeah, because I get distracted by my thoughts.
I thought, you're thinking about your posters again, aren't you?
Anyway, they may not have a reference to that because that might have been edited out, which I'm hoping it has.
No, I hope it hasn't.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, look, exit strategies. You really have to think about this. It's all very well to buy something which appears to be really cheap from an unknown developer with a great payment plan, etc. But you've got to consider: is someone going to buy that in 3-5 years' time from you if you need to sell or you want to sell?
Well, you think about it. You could see an apartment, a one-bed apartment, like really, really cheap. Yes. And then when you go and look at it, it's an old building, old facilities, and you think, I know why it's cheap. But because it's so cheap, I can get an 8%, a 10% rental yield, which is great.
Yeah.
But when you come to sell it, if you're selling it for 20, 30, 40% less than what you paid for it, because it's an old building and not many people want to buy into that, your rental yield's been swallowed up.
Yes.
Hence why you should be looking at new build.
Yeah, I think you're going to be. One of the exit strategies is this property only going to be good to rent, or will an end user want to actually purchase this property?
Yes.
That's so important. So you need a property that ticks all the boxes. Are we going to be able to resell this at any point? Will it rent out really easily? And will an end user want to live in it and buy it to live in?
Yes.
And that's so important, because if you just look at rental properties as such, they will always be rental properties. There are whole areas of Dubai which are 95% just rental properties, and their values just are linked so much to the amount of rent you're going to receive, because the people...
Can you give me some examples, please?
Am I allowed to?
Yes.
Am I allowed to say things like Sports City, International City, Discovery Gardens?
Yeah.
Definitely some buildings in the marina.
I think Sports City actually could have a bit of a resurgence in popularity, but certainly International City and Discovery Gardens.
Sports City, take away the houses, the Victory Heights, etc., and those townhouses. I'm just talking about the buildings.
The older buildings, yeah.
The older buildings in Sports City. There's no reason to want to buy that to live in it.
No.
Yeah, the prices might be attractive, but seriously, I don't know that anybody actually wants to own something there. They own to rent, yes, no problem. Discovery Gardens, International City, well, that's a given. That's mainly for buying to let. And those prices do link very well with the rents. So as rents go up, the prices go up. As they go down, the prices go down. So it's as simple as that. I think, certain buildings in the marina, even certain buildings in Business Bay, are purely there for rent. We've got to look at communities and keep going on about that. So
we want to look at, and we're talking to our hopefully would-be investors out there. When we're identifying certain areas, certain developments, whether they're master communities or standalone buildings, we want something which we know, because we've done our homework, we've done our due diligence, we know it's going to rent well, and we also know that as long as the market stays strong, every sign is it's going to, is that it's going to go up in market price as the market rises, and at some stage in the future, they will be selling that for a profit. They will not be taking a loss on it. So it's twofold. It's obviously your rental yield and your capital appreciation over time, and that's our job to find those properties.
Totally. No, that's what we do all day long, and I hope we really do take this seriously. I think you and I, for sure, do take that side of things very seriously.
Yes,
I think there's a lot of people that might come into this market. I'm not suggesting a house and house, but certainly there are agents out there, because we hear the stories where they just look at making a fast buck and advising clients incorrectly, not just because they have been misinformed themselves, but also they're just looking at what commission they can earn out of it. And how quick
and we know a lot of those people, by the time that particular building development completes, they're not going to be here anyway, and they really don't care.
100%.
Which is a shame.
Well, they might not be here, but yeah. I mean, look, I don't know. I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they're talking about 60,000 agents in Dubai at the moment or something. I don't know how true this is, but what was interesting, they said that 20% of those people had been here for longer than, I think it was 4 years.
Really?
Yeah. So
and about 20 people have been here for longer than 15.
I sort of think you and I probably are. I mean, I don't know exactly, but maybe we're the sort of dinosaurs of the real estate industry here in Dubai. But I think we're probably definitely in the minority, the fact that we've been here for so long.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Stephen. I think we should wrap it up there. Okay. It's been wonderful speaking to you again. Lovely chat. And until next time, Stephen, I'll say goodbye.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you very much.